I'll start. We'll just
Okay.
do what we
Yep.
do. Well, hello everybody. Today we're here with Jennifer. Jennifer Johnson has come back to join our team from, we've had her in the past as a children's librarian, and now she is with us as a circulation manager. And I, of course, am Suzanne Moore, and we have lots of good reads to share with you for the month of November. So I'm really excited to talk with you about books today.
Let's do it.
I want to begin, and I always try to begin in a chronological way so I don't leave you out of order with when things are happening. But we like to talk about all the good reads and book clubs that come along the way in this month of November. And we always start off in the first thing with a film that relates to the book that our branch location is reading. So out there in Trap Hill, we have a group called the Reading Trap, and it is fun. It's not like torture to get trapped out there, but it's fun to talk about all kinds of different things. We always pick something eclectic that relates to the month of the author's birthday. So in November, we are reading a book called The Case of Sergeant Griska. I don't have the book with me. I've got some books with me, but they're so old they don't have jackets. Those are dull covers to share. And I want to just tell you a little bit about the book that we're discussing in the branch location this month. And it is appropriate, I believe, since November we celebrate Veterans Day. This is a military story. It takes place in World War I. And here's the situation. Sergeant Griska escaped from a prisoner of war camp. So, he was captured by the Germans. He's an English soldier. He was captured by the Germans and he escapes. So in order to preserve and protect himself from the enemy, he finds a deceased German soldier who he puts on that guy's uniform. It's kind of be incognito. Lo and behold, that guy was escaped for treason, and now he's they're looking for him too. So he's on the run, and this story, I don't want to spoil it for you. Actually, I'll let you know for off the top. I'll say for myself, I haven't read it yet. I have so many books to read. The reason why I haven't read it yet, and I do intend to read it before we have our discussion, is there's limited copies of this book. It's kind of a rare story. Mm-hmm. It's in celebration of Arnold Zweig. I think that's how you Zweig or Zweig.
Sure.
It's a Z word.
Mm-hmm.
He is a German writer, and he celebrates his birthday on November the 10th, the day before Veterans Day. The conversation on this book will be taking place at the branch at noon on, as always, it's on the second Thursday of the month at noon. So it will be November 14th, which will be the second Thursday. And normally, like I said, we have a film. This doesn't have a film. It's just a random book that we selected. We might read other things, but this is one of the highlights. So to compensate or to complement not having a film for this book, or even very many copies of this book, I'm trying to give you rare books today. Mm-hmm. We have something more well known for everyone, All Quiet on the Western Front. This film is about German soldiers, and they're young and gung-ho. They're out there to defend the country or to fight for their country, and then when they get out there in the battlefield, they're like, what are we doing here? This isn't where we want to be. And it's a grim story, but it's a true story about war. I mean, it's based on fact, and it describes the extreme physical and mental trauma. That's what I'm reading from the paper below, just to give you a heads up. It is billed as the greatest war novel of all time. Now, I did read this one because I was waiting on a copy of that one. That one's out and about. We've got several copies out and about, but we will have them back in our hands. If you want to read either one of these, grab one, read one, or just come and visit and discuss with us. We usually always bring some good food along the way, and there's a lot of tasty German dishes. So members of the book club like to feed and eat, and that's always good too. So anyway, the film, by the time you see this video, the film will have already happened. The film for our Reading Trap Book Club is always on the first Saturday of the month. And since this is getting a little late published because the month starts almost here right here on the first Saturday of the month, you can watch it. This is actually the 1930 version. Have you ever seen this film?
Mm-mm.
I think it was re-released recently on
so.
Netflix, but this is the original 1930 version. We do have this in the library if you want to borrow and watch it at home, or you can watch the more recent one on Netflix. So you're in the loop with the war story. Now I want to tell you about what's coming down the line with the Reading Trap for December. We haven't got there yet, but it's always good to know in advance what we're reading about so you can get your hands on those books and have plenty of time to read them as well. We're going to be reading a World War II story, and this is by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, a Russian author. So, these names, bear with me. This story that we're reading is called The First Circle, and this is during World War II, and the Soviet Army has put together a labor camp and sentenced our main character to 8 years in hard labor. And this is kind of calling the First Circle. They're like the folks that they're intellectual prisoners, and they may have some information that they feel is going to be leaking out in the war zone, or against the enemy again, like spy secrets and things like that. But they're such of an intellectual level that they're going to keep them on the First Circle in a special labor camp that's called, how to pronounce it, it's Sharashka. It's like a prison camp, but it's kind of a luxury prison camp, not necessarily hardcore concentration camp. And it's also written reference to the First Circle of Dante's Inferno.
Okay.
In that classic story, Dante said that the Greek intellectuals, they were unfortunately born before Christ could redeem them, and they were on the first level of the Inferno because they were not as condemned as others might be. So this is kind of a comparison of that too. Interesting. Find out about Alexander Solzhenitsyn, so whatever you say his name. I'll practice on that next time. He's our celebrated author for December. And let's see, I have one other veteran type story to let you in on. If you were not aware, our library holds a Talking Service book club, and that's Talking Service is targeting our veterans, but it's really a group that anyone can come to. So if you're interested in learning about war, crossing cultural boundaries, if you are active duty, not a veteran, for instance, you want to join us, you're welcome to come. They meet on the second Friday of every month. So we'll be out there at the branch with the Reading Trap on the 14th of November. We'll be here in the main location, North Wilkesboro Library, at 10 a.m. for our Talking Service book club. Now, just to make sure you're not freaking out there about this big, long, fat book. We're not reading this whole book. We read little short pieces from the book. There are 44 selections, and this is an anthology, and the veterans decide what they'd like to read each month. You may have seen Marlene Tugman on my videos before, our adult services manager. She leads this group, and they have just a great time. As I said, everybody's invited. And what they had picked to read for the month of November is kind of appropriate for Veterans Day as well. It is a piece called Reclamation, and this is by John Burns, and he is an Iraqi or Gulf War Marine veteran, and he finds himself in an area where there were World War I veterans buried in battle 88 years ago. And the cemetery has been neglected. It's in a Gulf War town. Altut, I believe, is the name of the town. Again, not mistaken, or not the best at pronouncing things today. But since we like to honor our veterans and remember those that have died in battle or, fought for us, and we appreciate their sacrifices, so that every year we want to bring attention to recognize Veterans Day. I think that is another appropriate story.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going through the battle campaigns today, talking a little bit about World War I, World War II, now the Gulf War reclamation story. If you would like to get a copy of that, it's just for a few little pages in this big anthology. Call the library and we'll email it to you, or you can come by and pick up a copy of this book. This book was given with grant funding. If you come to our book club and you want to become a regular, you get your own anthology to keep and read from each month that we meet.
Nice.
So Jennifer brought some books from our children's librarian that Amber has recommended.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
let me find her notes here.
yes.
So first of all, we have new story walks. The story walk at Smoot Park is now the Poppy Lady. Readers get a token and a poppy flower. So if you've seen the vending machine downstairs for the books, that's what the token's for. And then we also, on Main Street, we have a new story walk called The First Strawberries, which is a Cherokee story. Also, readers get a token for that and a strawberry treat, which is nice.
Nice.
So Miss Amber also wanted to recommend a couple of stories here. So this one is The Wall by Eve Bunting, which is a story about a young boy and his father visiting the Vietnam War memorial. And then this book, Wolf Hollow, which is a popular, I believe it was a Battle of the Books book at some point. Let me see what she wrote about this. This is important because it's about honoring sacrifices made during wartime. So that's those.
Oh, all right. I've never heard of Wolf Hollow.
Mm-hmm.
I love the trees on the cover. Good ones. Teen novels.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go into
Well, we were talking about the strawberry story on the downtown read around
Mm-hmm.
story walk, and I know that's a legend. It's a Native American History Month as well as Veterans Day this month. So, in honor of that, did you have? I think you had a couple more that she sent were
yes, some
Native
more.
American stories. We have plenty of stories down in the library. These are just a few samples you might like to
Yeah, I
borrow.
think this is a very new book too.
Yeah.
And then we have these from Sherman
So
Alexie.
pretty.
This one, Thunder Boy Jr. and Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian.
Oh, this is a mother-to-be,
Mm-hmm.
a Native American mother-to-be. So this is probably interesting for children who are going to have a new sibling coming to the family,
Mm-hmm.
and in honor of Native American History Month as well. So lots of good things to pick from. We just have a few here to share with you today. I didn't know Sherman Alexie had a picture book there. That's cool. You read his other one?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, let me tell you. Open that up, and
Yeah,
it's got like some
it's very popular.
like graphics in
Mhm.
there. This is a kid who's an artist on an Indian reservation. He does a lot of doodling. He's very talented, and I think that's based on the author a little bit. But I didn't know he had a children's version of his life story. Maybe that's what this is about. Cool. Backing up, I just want to say we have a special hometown author visiting us this month. Have you met Sonia Gilreath?
I have not.
I have not either. We would love for you to come out and meet her. Sonia Gilreath visits here in the library the 9th at noon. That's a Saturday. That is a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gosh, I can't believe how fast the year's flown.
Yeah, it's November.
It's November. Well, she has a book called Healing the Little Girl Within, and this journeys the timeline of her life beginning in early childhood. It takes us on a transformative journey of conveying pain into purpose. So it's an emotional story, and coming from the author herself, I think that will be really something useful for us to learn about and understand, and shared experiences. You know, people have troubles in their lives, and we don't want any troubles, but we know each time, that we read these stories, we learn more in ways to deal with things. So, Native American History Month, I'm talking from Merlin's Book Club again, and they're there. I have not read this book before. It's a brand new book, actually, and it is a collection of short stories. They're from different people who are traveling to the Big Oakland Powwow in California. This is, each chapter has a different character, describes their history, explains where they're going and why they're going to the powwow, and each of them is a Native American that's telling their story, but not all of them embrace their heritage. So again, stories about veterans and our Native American history. It's going to be a really good, lot of good reads coming up, and now we have some other fun things happening that you can tell us about.
So, in case you didn't know, November is the beginning of Dinovember. So for the entire month of November, come to the Children's Library to get into some kind of dinosaur fun. So this video will come out too late for the Adopt a Dinosaur program, but there are more activities going on throughout the month, so stay tuned for that. But we've got lots of books about dinosaurs.
I think all kids love dinosaurs.
Yep.
They're just so interesting, like real monsters that once lived on this earth.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And the fantasy one there with the Christmas
cat, yeah,
that one's cute.
What the dinosaurs did the night before Christmas. Like, this is just great.
Well, The Night Before Christmas has always been my favorite, but I never heard about the dinosaurs version of it.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, do you have some of your favorites since this is your first time to visit with us? Tell us some things you like to read.
So I just grabbed a couple books. So the most recent book that I just finished this week, is called Secondhand Dogs. I just saw it get checked in. It was on the cart. And as someone who has 4 secondhand dogs, I felt very drawn to this. And it's just the sweetest story about this widow who rescues dogs, and how she tries to rescue another dog, and it just doesn't fit quite right, and how the pack dynamics are changed. This is a middle grade book, so I mean it's meant for a younger audience. No dogs die.
There you go.
No dogs die.
So you have 4?
I have 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Did they get along very well?
Mostly. I could definitely feel. I felt very seen in this book. It was really sweet. Just like the different personalities of each dog is just really sweet. So if you're a dog lover, it's a really sweet story. And I wanted to showcase this one. It was on our new bookshelf. So when you first come in the downstairs of the library over to the right, we have a big old shelf of new books. This is by T.J. Klune. It's called In the Lives of Puppets. It is a retelling of Pinocchio. It's sci-fi, there's robots. It's just fascinating. If you've read anything by T.J. Klune, you know he's got a very whimsical, it's just an incredible way of writing. He wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea, which is my favorite book of all time, and I think I'm wearing the earrings today. I love it so much. His books are just,
You know what, I'm so glad you told me the name of that book, because my mind was going with dogs, and I thought you were talking about the lives of puppies. Puppets!
Well, yeah, this is puppets. So, like, these are tree houses, and
cool.
It's an interesting book. It really is really cool.
My books lost their jacket, but they're not boring on the inside, I promise.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about T.J. Klune's book. His covers are always very,
I mean, sometimes do you pick a book for its cover? Sometimes
I do 100% of the time.
Yeah. So you would not pick this one?
Probably not.
Well, I want to tell y'all, we have so much fun reading books and talking about books, and we want to invite you to visit us and get your own card if you don't have one yet. We've got ebooks that you can load on your phone and listen to, audio as well. And I forgot to mention it last month, so I'm making a point not to forget this month, but is it next weekend or the weekend after that? The 14th, 15th, and 16th. 2 Thursdays away. Okay. The Friends of the Library have their monthly book sale, and they raise money with gently used books to fund our programs. And their book sale. If you haven't been to it, it's great. You get some really nice books for a very low cost. Supporting the library.
And great Christmas presents.
Right. Practically, some of them are new, some of them are older, discards or repurposed secondhand books that aren't too worn out. But you'll be surprised all the good things to read over at the Friends Bookstore, which is down the road behind the Stone Center. And they start that every second Thursday evening. Yeah, the second Thursday evening from 5 to 7, and then all day Friday and Saturday, second Friday and Saturday from 9 to 5 over there at their store. I'm going to also let you know that I mentioned we were going to be out for, well, maybe I didn't mention this, but I need to. We're going to be out at Light Up the Town, this holiday thing where we come out here and celebrate lighting up the trees and the lights around town. On the 22nd of November.
22nd.
That's a good time to come out and see and hear what's going on all over downtown, different vendors and activities, but we'll have a library tent and we'll have some things to give away there. The Friends of the Library, they will also have a tent, and they're hosting a fundraiser this year. They've been making the coolest little repurposed ornaments for your tree out of old secondhand books.
Cool.
Yeah. So you want some support the Friends at their ornament fundraiser, come down to Light Up of the Town, and we will have our special library mascot Arlie the Fox visiting us. He is our reading ambassador, and if you want to come visit and take a photo shoot with Arlie and see what's happening, check us out downtown, Light Up the Town, November 22nd. I think I gave all the highlights. Pretty good. There's so much happening. It's just so many books, not enough time.
Never enough time.
But that's okay. Just pick one up that you like to read for all ages. Adult fiction, juvenile fiction,
everything in between.
Dogs. Yeah. All right, thank y'all. Have a good night and have a good week. Have a good month.
All right.
Thanks, Jennifer.